What's up, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer and Tim Hyde from blueandgold.com with a recruiting video for this week. And if you watch some of our live shows and some of our YouTube videos we've done here in the past couple weeks, Tim has been chomping at the bits to talk some Notre Dame quarterback recruiting. So we got four QBs who Notre Dame is very much recruiting and in pursuit of. So we're going to watch all four of these guys. Pop on their tape. Tim's going to talk about them. I'll dish on their respective recruitments. First, make sure you hit the thumbs up on this video. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you are not yet. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, really, what are you doing? Come on. You got to hop on board. And then if you want to subscribe to our website, blueandgold.com, deal of the year, $1 for a year of premium access. They get you all the recruiting information, all the nuggets and whatnot. It's all there at the blueandgold.com message board. Okay, first up, I figure let's start with really the top of the board target, Dante Moore from Detroit. Martin Luther King, 6'2", 195 pounds. On3 consensus ranks him as the number 17 player in the country and number 4 quarterback. So Tim, why don't we pop on his tape and what do you see when you see him on film?
A dynamic football player. I mean, let's just be obvious here. State the obvious. He's a primetime football player. He is electric. He has got an amazing arm. I think one of the nicest thing right there is, there's some plays you don't even see his arm move. It's like that quick. It is an unbelievable zip on the ball. The thing I like with him, I've coached a couple Division I quarterbacks before, is I love his base. I love his shoulders. Not a lot of wasted movement with him, meaning the ball is up in the numbers. It's up in the chest, ready to come out of that pocket immediately. And he sets his feet before he throws a lot of times. Obviously not there on the run, but he's darn good, man. He really is. Everything they say about him. I mean, just look at the release. I was texting you earlier. All the people, I don't know how much we're going to watch here, but everybody, if you want to watch Dante Moore at his finest, watch from the 3-minute to the 4-minute. Sometime in highlights, people just watch the first minute or so. For whatever reason, I think his best football players are in the 3 minutes to 4 minutes. There's an out route he throws on a back shoulder fade, which is just like unbelievable. And then I could say, real quick on him is in quarterback recruiting. The one thing that he does, he makes his wide receivers look really good, meaning he's throwing the ball on the money. There's not a lot of plays where receivers are making plays for him on bad plays, which goes back to his accuracy. I think every time you see a slant in this highlight film, it's hitting the dudes in the belly button, like in the chest. It's perfect. So, I mean, everything you read about him is true, and he is a must get. And I hate the word to say, use the term must, but I say must because it's Coach Freeman's first recruiting class, and I'm using that as this is his first class. Let's be all honest. The quarterback. How many times have you mentioned it, Mike, on the message board and videos? The old truck and trailer analogy, and Dante Moore he's the truck, man. He will bring the team along with him, lead them. And for me, my humble opinion is, if he's an early enrollee, I would tell the guy, you're the number 2 quarterback. Go beat out Buckner for 2023. And I'm just throwing that out there. I think he's that good to be the number 2 guy the first day he steps on campus.
Okay.
That's my opinion on watching his film.
All right. I've seen him in person a couple times. He is he's really good. I think how easily you're talking about with his release,
Yes.
it's really just a flick of the wrist. But I think a lot of quarterbacks these days kind of fall in love with the Patrick Mahomes kind of loosey-goosey way of throwing around the football. I think he throws sloppy sometimes with his lower half. I think, and it just goes to show that he doesn't need the perfect base, the perfect footwork to just sling the ball 40 yards downfield. So if you're watching this, Dante, it's actually a compliment, because when you are playing a little bit loose, you still make all of those throws. So
Well, real quick on that, Mike, just real quick is, I saw Jimmy Clausen play in high school out here in Southern California. I saw him live. I saw him at camp, saw him at 7-on-7, and Jimmy would always have the ball up, perfect numbers ready to throw. And when you see Dante in the pocket, he really looks like Jimmy a lot of the times, the way he gets rid of that ball. So a lot of similar traits between Jimmy Clausen and Dante Moore when throwing the ball in the pocket.
all right, yeah, that's not bad. That's
Yeah.
not a bad comparison for him. So, yeah, as far as his recruitment goes, just had up on the screen his and here it is. His On3 profile. The recruiting prediction machine has him as a little bit of a Michigan lean. I'm not so sure that's accurate. I think Notre Dame is starting to trend in that recruitment a little bit. Next guy up here is we're going to look at Chris Fizzina, Briarwood Christian in Birmingham, Alabama. That same recruiting prediction machine has him trending towards Clemson. I do think Clemson's the leader right now, but number 99 player in the country and number 9 quarterback, a big target for Notre Dame. Recruitment still not even close to being over. He's going to take some more visits and think he'll get to Notre Dame before he does make a decision. So let's pop on his tape. What do you think about Christopher Vizzina?
Well, the first thing I noticed is he looks the part. And I say that it was just like this guy looks like a quarterback, doesn't he? I mean, he looks big, strong, athletic. I mean, he could run. He's your perfect modern day type of gunslinger in the pocket, but defenses has to respect his legs as well. I love the way he throws on the run. They roll him out a ton, and he's smooth. So I keep going back to that. He just looks the part. And I think that's why, you go back to Dabo Sweeney, who's only offered 2 quarterbacks, and Fizzina is one of them, between him and Arch Manning. And I think that says a lot about his upside, his potential down the road, that, Clemson's only offered 2 quarterbacks in this class, and they want one of those 2 to lead them. And obviously Dabo's had tremendous success there at quarterback, over his time. So really, really live arm, solid. Solid. Right here, his upper body, just the way he gets rid of the ball as well. Big arm, and he's smooth. I keep going back. I've watched this film multiple times ever since it's been up in the last month or so. Going back, just studying all of these quarterbacks, trying to see the ranking of who is who, and he's a legitimate top 100 prospect in the country, and should be, one of the guys Notre Dame's trying to get to fill that main spot. Here's another guy that could come in and challenge. Is it for a starting role? I think Dante Moore is ready to play probably sooner, but if you had to play Vizzina real quick in his freshman year sometime, I think he could definitely lead Notre Dame to some W's as a freshman.
Real quick, Tim, what do you think about the comparison of Josh Allen? That's kind of, when you talk about
Yeah,
modern day quarterback, I think Josh
yeah,
Allen's kind of it represents that. With high school to NFL comparisons, it's more of just
sure.
an idea of what a player could be, or his playing style, I should say. So, what do you think about that, Tim?
That's all. Yeah, exactly. I've heard about some of that stuff, and the same thing. You just see and it goes back to the mannerisms. The mannerisms, the way his body works, the way, like right there, that throw right there looks like Allen just threw the Bills versus the Kansas City Chiefs. There, the way he does it on the run. This guy could run for 125 yards in a game on some scrambles. You're gonna have to respect this guy, or he's gonna run crazy, just like Allen has done multiple times in the NFL. So really, really interesting comparison because he looks like him physically as well. So I think he's a good quarterback. He's another one. I know you've seen him in person, and he looks tall. He looks tall. He looks like a legit 6'3".
And he's a big, like a man of faith. Pat
Mm-hmm.
Catholic is that's a big part, of his life. So the spiritual aspect. So if you're Notre Dame, you're hoping that goes in your favor. So yeah, that's Chris Vizzina. So that seems to be Notre Dame's top two quarterbacks on the board, at least, in my opinion. But then there's Avery Johnson, a really
Mhm.
interesting quarterback, X factor, if you will. On three consensus has him as the number 186 player nationally, number 11 quarterback. And if you're not familiar with the on three consensus, that is the On Three takes the four major media outlets, 24/7 rivals, ESPN and On Three, equally weighs them, puts it in some algorithm machine, and boom, comes out the On Three consensus. I don't really know how 100% how it works, but that's kind of the quick understanding of the consensus. It's a compilation, if you will, of the ranking. So On Three has them as a 4-star outside the national ranking, but going back to Avery Johnson, Notre Dame offered him over the summer after seeing him in person throw a little bit. Um, I don't get the sense that they're super pursuing him. I even asked Johnson recently if he talks to Notre Dame a good bit. He said occasionally, but Johnson's still someone that we should be talking about. So let's take a look at his junior films playing in Kansas. So not the best competition, but man, is he a lot of fun to watch.
Oh yes, the first thing on my notes was he is an ultimate RPO quarterback. Meaning you can run zone reads with this guy. You can run quarterback powers with this guy at the same time, have a passing attack off of the run game. Is that almost like Sam Howell? He's obviously not as big and thick as Sam Howell, but he would be outstanding in that same type of offense where he could run. Really, really smooth football player. And real quick, I know we're going to talk about Stokes here in a second as well. But between Stokes and Johnson, I started, thinking of another guy to compare them to. And one of the first guys I thought about was Clifford, the Penn State quarterback, a guy that's a competitor, an athlete, making plays with his arm and his feet. Clifford was obviously a highly ranked player going to Penn State. So, it just reminded me of him. He's one of those, guys I thought about. He could run. There's a few plays you're like, is he that fast or is it the competition? But he's got a straight line burst of like pure 40 speed straight ahead, which is big time athletic football play right there.
Yeah. In terms of who's the best athlete of these four, we're going to talk about, it's got to be Johnson, right?
Oh God, yes. I mean, there's some play. I mean, the one play there where he ran 99 yards, it was out. There's an offensive hold, but he still ran 99. And just some of these broken plays in his playoff film where he's scrambling like crazy. There's a ball over his head. He picks it up and goes 50 yards. He's a super, super athletic kid. One of those guys of, is he a second quarterback if so and so wants to transfer a year from now or so? Does he provide depth, a guy to keep growing where 3 years from now, he's going to be bigger, faster, stronger, and be able to be a solid number two at a Notre Dame football program. I feel.
Yeah, he's just a really interesting player. I mean, the more
Yes.
I watch him, the more I start to feel like, man, I would love to cover this kid
Well,
and watch him play on
yeah,
Saturdays.
well, real quick, Mike. Same thing. Oh my gosh, I keep going the same thing with him and the next guy we're going to talk about is if you get these guys, you've got to go straight pure spread, old school zone read offense. Sell yourself into it, RPOs, and let those guys go run for 100 yards.
All right, last is Marcus Stokes from Nice High School in the Jacksonville area. Someone who's just really starting to blow up here recently. Penn State, kind of the big offer right now, but Notre Dame and many others are kind of sniffing around, showing interest. So let's take a look at this young man, Tim. What do you see on his film?
Well, that play right there looks like Tim Tebow, doesn't it? I mean,
Same
seriously.
high school, right?
Same high school. I mean, the very first play, I'm like, his very first play on his highlight is a Tim Tebow, quarterback bash play that he ran for 1,000,000 yards at Florida. This play right here, now this is the difference between him and I felt was with Moore and Vizzina is Moore and Vizzina make they make the receivers look good. I felt in a lot of these highlight plays, the receivers are making freakish plays for Stokes. He's got a lively arm. Obviously he's not as accurate as some of the other guys. Very athletic. Use that term, a raw quarterback. He's got some growing to do and whatnot, but he plays big time high school football in the great state of Florida. And that's got to be a positive. Been a quarterback for multiple years down there, a lot of playing experience, a lot of W's under his belt. And yeah, he's fascinating because he's come on the board here recently. Obviously, he went down to San Antonio and tore it up in the under class. But perfect point right there. A lot of his throws are sidearm from the lower hip, just slinging it. He's got a long windup. When you watch his film slow motion, his arm goes back a lot. So he's using a lot of shoulder motion where, what's that going to do to the body over time, slinging it. And obviously that arm strength at Notre Dame. Is it good enough to go beat A&M in a couple of years if he's the quarterback, to use them as an example when they're playing them on the schedule here in 24 and 25. So, those types of things I started to look at as his potential, down the road. But I mean, that ball right there is outstanding. A lot of these plays, as receivers are jumping, got to make some good things like that right there. But he throws it up and he's like, "Go make me, go make some money." And those receivers are, make a lot of plays for him on the film. So, but another fascinating guy, much like Johnson. I think Johnson's a little bit more polished than him, but that's going back to my Sean. I don't know why I thought of Sean Clifford. I just thought of, Sean Clifford made a lot of plays at Penn State, and he was, he just really reminded me of these guys. The way he makes plays, runs around with his feet, and things of that nature.
All right, so that's this video. Should note Stokes does not have an offer from Notre Dame yet, but again, staff's taking a look at him. So before you guys get out of here, hit that thumbs up. You can find a lot more coverage of Notre Dame quarterback recruiting at blueandgold.com, your home for everything Fighting Irish athletics. We will catch you guys next time.